Oldham County.
Oh, no, no.
Well, Mandy, you got to realize it's okay unless you get caught.
Well, my house being on the corner there, it really does. We can't get away with anything. Andy doesn't cut his grass, code enforcement. Like yeah.
Just let you know we are now broadcasting.
How do I get my picture up?
What was that?
You should have a start video button somewhere.
Start video. Thank you, John. Hello.
Marty.
Yeah.
You got it.
Hi.
I'm Marty.
Hey, Herb.
Marty,
Hello.
Don, have you met Marty before?
I'm not sure.
Hi, Doug. How are you? Or Don, I'm sorry. I'm going to get this closer so I can read it.
Doing good.
Where's our fearless leader?
I know, never ever late.
Yes, she is. She's not perfect.
Oh,
Oh, here it is.
there we go. Hi, Linda.
Hey, how is everybody?
Hello.
I don't know what's going on. I could not get through with my iPad. I'm on my phone, which is never as easy, but it'll work. John, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm fine. Just a brand new crown. That's all.
Oh, no fun.
Yeah.
So, okay, I think we'll have Herb, hopefully, and Lee, because we need at least one more to have our quorum. And Connie sent me a text a minute ago saying she wasn't really feeling well, and if she could pass today, she would like to do so. But she said if we didn't have enough people, so I'm still hoping that one of those two will be available, because at this point, I think the only cancellation was from Sylvia, who said she was out of the country.
Linda, you got a little catch in the audio.
Well, maybe my iPad, and that's what I normally use. So we don't have, okay, we've got Herb, so we've got 4 people now. So I think started, it's now 2:02. I'd like to call the June 11th Forestation meeting to order. And the first order of business, I think, is to welcome our newest member, Marty Hedgebath. Marty, welcome.
Thank you very much.
And you kind of hit the ground running and started getting involved right away, and we really appreciate that. And I think it will be great fun to see what we can accomplish with you as part of the team.
Thank
you. Okay. I guess the first thing we should do is take a look at the minutes that Mandy sent out. I think they look good. Does anybody else have a comment?
Yeah, there was one thing there talking about the ball game at the very last item. It's June 11 rather than June 1.
Oh, typo. Okay. Perfect.
June 11 today.
Yes, today.
Yeah, so over and done.
Perfect.
Okay, so I think it would be safe to say we can approve the minutes as corrected. Would everybody agree?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we can move on. John, do you know if Doug is going to give a report today?
He is stuck in a different meeting. I can tell you probably the only thing I'm aware of that he'd want to let you know is about our annexation, which I presume if you're on our email list and have been around at all, you've probably heard by now that the city is proceeding to annex the King Carla neighborhood, the Head property, which is adjacent to the fire department, which is undeveloped, and then about 5 parcels along River Road, including the new apartments that are over there. The council passed that unanimously. It's now in front of Louisville Metro's government, and we hope their council will approve it here within no more than 2 months. So everything's proceeding as planned so far on downtown Prospect.
Okay, that sounds great. And let me ask you this, John, because I know this
Mhm.
is something that Ron has been able to do, is that he's gotten a written interpretation of the minutes that he's able to send to Mandy to help her to
Oh, okay.
create the
Let me
finish.
make sure I
Can we
got
do
that
that?
feature turned on.
And that is a big help when he started doing it.
Thanks, Linda.
I'm looking out for you.
Yeah, I'll do my best. I'm looking. I remember seeing that feature somewhere in here.
John, if I have to, I like with yesterday, I just played back the video on YouTube, which
And that's
Okay.
what I've
But
done multiple
I'll
times.
but it got the job.
okay.
It
I was
does.
with Doug earlier today, and I asked him about the annex, and he said if all the paperwork's right, it's more just the metro government giving their blessings. I mean, it's as
Ministerial.
long as Prospect did everything, got all the
Good.
signatures.
All
So
sorts
it's,
of different processes, permits, approvals.
so it's all, it'll be a done deal.
Yep, and
I
ready
believe
to move
so.
on to next steps. It is pretty exciting. Um, with having covered what's new with the city. Hey, Kylie.
Hi, I'm on two ways.
You only
Well,
need to
don't
be
do
on the
that.
one.
Don't do
Put
that.
the camera.
Put the phone away.
Let me.
Something.
If we hear echo, we know the phone's on. I don't hear it.
Okay, so should we continue our discussion?
Yes. Yes.
The arborist update
Yes.
and Joseph, is not with us today because the baby has not come and he is in the middle of his ISA tree risk management course. So he's going to have that
Good.
certification to work with. So we're very pleased to hear that. And I know
Yeah.
some of you had the opportunity to meet with him when we did a little orientation on May 21st. And we took that advantage to start visiting some neighborhoods. So he went up and we met with a resident who had contacted us multiple times from the Overlook. And we know that the trees from previous experience are probably all Bridgepoint HOA responsibility. And he really didn't have enough stuff to go climbing around and up that hill that day. But he agreed he would come back with the equipment he needed to make a more realistic evaluation in terms of the risk, which he did. And so he came back on, and then after our little orientation here in the library at City Hall, we went out and drove through some of the neighborhoods so he could kind of see what was going on in some of the communities. He could see all the Bradford pear trees and the landings and the ongoing challenge and some others that, might need a little attention. And so we went through that. And then a couple weeks later, I met with him on June 4th. So we could go back to Bridgepoint and then go back with his equipment and climb into what was going on that hill. I did not do it. He took his tools and went up and did what needed to be done. I mean, there's a hammer and some things he does just to make it all work. So we did that, and that was very helpful. And let's see.
Has he
After
done a
that-
report on his findings yet? Or
Yes,
did he?
I will be talking a little bit about that when we get to hazardous trees, because there's a few other things that, have been going on with Forestation that you guys need to be updated on. Like we had our meeting on June 4th with Sandra Leonard to we recruited a few of us to make calls to some of the other tree cities and to find out, what their practices were. Obviously, we didn't want to intimidate or insult anybody, but rather find out what practices they did use that, we could share, or what things they felt would be useful. And if we can help coordinate some resources and help the Jefferson County League of Cities recruit more members, I think that would be a win-win for everybody. And so Herb and I talked about that a little bit. And so I came up with some comments to, complement what we had been given by the state to help simplify that, if they have any concerns about what they've been doing. So that was kind of interesting. And so what else went on? The 8th of June, I was at a special meeting that the city called for HOAs. And because certainly we know we've had many inquiries over the years that there's a great misunderstanding because people feel that either their HOA or the city is going to take care of a street tree. And I was able to talk about our ordinance and, some of the refinements that are in there, and try to make it clear that if they have a question, we'd be happy to answer it. But if it's a street tree in your front yard, it's yours. And if there's a problem, and you want to remove it, you need to know. And over and above that, if we spot it on our own, because we kind of drive around our neighborhoods and others just to kind of keep up with everything. So that was, hopefully we got through to a few people that way. And then the other thing that went on Wednesday, I had a meeting with the Moorhead Kane scholar students, and they're collecting all kinds of information, and they're going to make observations, recommendations. And I'm certainly, if I were a student at this time with this kind of project, I mean, it's a unique opportunity. And we had good discussions about the importance of green space, maintaining what we have, enhancing what can be controlled and managed successfully for long term, as well as maintaining what we have short term. Because I think one of the that we've heard about from multiple people that are concerned about the project in some ways is that, Prospect does have a certain charm, a certain character, and they don't want to see that lost. So that was an interesting thing. So from that, those are just kind of little updates for me on things that have been going on that, I was the only one there, but I wanted you all to know about. So that goes on to the hazard trees. These are some of the ones that we visited the other day. And
Can we go back where the HOAs, anybody hassle you and want to tar and feather you or anything?
I didn't leave with any darn feathers. They may be waiting for me somewhere, but so far so good.
Okay.
Hard to say. Hard to say. But I think in some cases, like Lee will remember this, that Lynn Dowling from Innisbrook, she was so confused by it all, and her residents were equally confused on who did what and what they should do to do the right thing. So she came to
Yeah.
City Hall, and I think Lee and I met with her, and she was very grateful to learn more, and that there was an ordinance with this kind of reference in it. And then they were getting ready to have their annual meeting. And so she invited us to come and speak, and Lee was available to help, and I think did a fabulous presentation. She's eternally grateful that it helped them a lot, and the neighborhood was able to coordinate some positive tree action. So these things can happen. So if we keep reaching out and different groups get the word, I think that's well worth doing. So meanwhile, back to hazardous trees. Okay, in Fox Harbor, reported a tree at 7213 Fox Harbor, a cherry tree. And this was one that Joe did look at. He felt it was definitely something to be removed and potentially hazardous. So, we need to verify the ownership and draft communication and documentation for that, and then work with code enforcement to work with the owner. Now, when we got to gunpowder, there was 6513. It's kind of at the top of the hill as you go up Gunpowder. It looks oak tree. It's far enough from the street, but it's big enough that it is quite a hazard to perhaps the owner or the street. So that was one to take a look at. There is another one further up the hill that I know is an ash tree that's leaning probably 50 degrees over the street. And it has some leaves, and it needs the street number on that one. So we do have some cases that we will start putting into action. And so while we were out that day, we went into Bridgepoint. We noticed as you come up Bridgepoint Boulevard, a couple of the islands have white pines that are failing, that needs to be addressed at some time. There was another one that we had been contacted about that at 5113 Old Creek Way. It's an oak tree. And the owner thought maybe we were responsible for it. And I said, I'm sorry, we're not. And she said she'd had an arborist out and that it was in severe decline. And I said, well, did he mention that it was hazardous? And I never got an answer on that one, which I can understand. So Joe, that one was hazardous just because of the size and the placement to the street or even to the owner's house. So that was one that needed to be addressed as. So those are several things that we were able to accomplish while we were out on that week. And then we can start getting the cases put together and working with the city on it. Now, this kind of gets into, we get a lot of questions about private land issues. There's a case that's, they reached out to the city. Some people in Autumn Hill had, I guess, a dead tree from John Hancock Common area, and they wanted to know what to do about it. And basically, and I think since the two HOAs are, well, I guess Autumn Hill doesn't have one, but I think Hancock does. But the different neighborhoods are talking to each other, and I think they have somebody coming in to take care of the problem tree. And I think that would be okay. I had one come in earlier this week from Bridgepoint Boulevard that she said a neighbor's ash tree had fallen from the back of the neighbor's side yard and had done damage to some property, I think a Japanese maple and some shrubs, and she wasn't sure if it was dead or not and wanted a recommendation. So again, this is something because of the location that we can't address for her, but we can give her direction that she needs to bring in an arborist to evaluate whether it needs to stay or go. So that's not an uncommon entry. Now we have a offer of some new trees for the Fox Harbor entry. The owner of the big property of Fox Harbor wants to plant some trees, and he's asked for a meeting next week. I don't know where he wants to plant them or what he has in mind, but we have agreed to meet with him, I think next Wednesday at 9:30, and Joe is hoping he can be there, and we'll play that one by ear. And then last but not least, historically we have had a table at the 4th of July festivities, and we kind of coordinated with Parks and Recreation so we can have our literature out and talk to people about what we do and answer questions. And sometimes we're busier than others, and it kind of depends on the weather. So how do you feel about continuing that? And I have not talked with anybody at Parks and Recreation yet, but I'll
They're
see
not
them at
doing
the
it.
camp. Oh, you're not? Okay.
Parks isn't.
Okay. So do we want to pursue that? I can't say crowds just clamoring to talk. So is it worth the effort?
I'm available. I know in previous 4th of Julys I haven't, but I am available this year.
Oh, what? No birthday
So,
party?
no birthday party. Big brother passed away. So,
Oh, I'm sorry. I did not know that. I'm
yeah,
very sorry to hear that.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So,
so how does everybody else feel about, the parade is at 6, and I think often we've gone up around 5 and maybe stayed till 7. And it is extra work for for Ron and his guys, because they've been kind enough to set up a table and chairs and a tent, because, it seems like most 4th of Julys are pretty warm and sticky. I mean, July in Kentucky, yes. So how does everybody else want to try for it again or not?
I could do it also. This is Lee.
Okay. So would you like to do it? I guess is the better question.
It's a fun event, yes.
And we get
It
to
has
hang out with each other, and that's always fun.
Forestation board viewpoint, but it doesn't hurt anything.
Well, exactly. So
We've
when
already,
Ron gets back, I'll tell him we would like to do it as we have in the past, and still have him bring the Parks and Recreation brochures. So those are available too, and we can go from there. All right, and let me know if you would be available for an hour or 2 hours that day. And I live just down the street and can easily walk up. I think Herb can easily walk up. I
Yeah.
know with Lee, you have a handicap sticker, so you can get a special parking permit to be in that park and not have to worry.
Yeah.
Worst case, because I am so close, somebody can park in my driveway if they need to.
unfortunately, we're committed to something. We'll be gone all day long.
Okay.
But going forward, I'll keep this in mind.
Okay. Because, have a couple of different people, a barbecue truck and a Mexican place. And I
What
think
hours,
there's usually
Linda, what
a
hours do
nice
you think we
place.
need to be there?
I would say 5 to 7, something like that. Just so there's a parade, and I think they usually start up some music, and that gives people time. There at 5, people are coming to set up chairs, get food, just mill around and say hello to friends, that sort of thing.
So
Does that
five to
sound-
7, okay. Yeah.
And I'll send out an email so people can think about it, and then when Ron gets back, I'll let him know that we'd appreciate the same setup, and it was very helpful. And I will say, I know Connie's not here, but she and Cliff had these neat little fans that wrap around your neck that are very cooling, and it was very helpful to have. And I bought one, so I'm ready for this year. So that was the last thing I had to cover. I know I've done way too much talking this time, but there were a lot of updates that I wanted to make sure everybody's aware of. And so like now,
Yes,
so
I
let me
do.
know what else you'd like to talk about.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Herb.
Okay, I noticed when I was down the concert, there's a fairly recent tree planted not too far from the pavilion that looks pretty dead. And then I looked over as I was leaving the Mr. Davis Memorial Tree.
Mm-hmm.
It looks pretty sicky.
Now that's a replant, isn't it? Didn't we have to replace that? I think we did.
I think it's already been replaced once.
That's
It was
right.
an oak tree.
You may have found an area that does not like trees.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe.
Those-
That's right.
Okay, that's one we need to check out. Take a walk through the park and look at all those trees. Take pictures when you can if you happen to get there. And again, I would tell everybody now that things are leafing out and we get a little better sense of who's happy and who's not, that we can verify these things and get Joe involved with a professional opinion and go from there.
Yes.
Okay.
I think on the Davis tree, have definitely Joe look at it and decide what's happening.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I know Andrea was pretty sensitive about where it went, and because that area we know has been flood issues in the past, et cetera, et cetera. So I think on number 2, I'm not sure if she changed the species maybe a different tree might be more appropriate. But I definitely, when we can get him back out here, want to find out. And if he comes next Wednesday, we'll be right there walking over to the Lavin property, and we can look at those while we look at the location and what they have in mind for the new planting they wish to contribute.
You may want to definitely look at a slightly different location and not replant in the same soil area.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the case, and finding what the next best location would be to try to assure success of the tree for sure.
I've got a recommendation that it's sort of been punted around here, City Hall occasionally, about memorial trees that if you all, when you're out, maybe sort of pre-identify like in the next half dozen spots so that when we do have people come in, we can sort of let them know these are areas that, and then they can maybe choose a spot. Just a
Yeah,
thought.
That's a good
that's
idea.
fine. That is a good idea. And there could be, some different areas, because I know somebody wanted to be near City Hall, or, somebody wanted to be, depending on what's available at the various park areas, et cetera, or, their own neighborhood as part of the
And
memorial.
that way Ron can sort of look at them too and make sure we're not,
Yeah, and we probably have Joe look at them as well
Yeah.
to see that they're suitable for planting.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have one last thing that I probably didn't think about till you started talking about code enforcement. We're losing Mike Thomas at the end of August, so that'll be a transition.
Yeah.
He's retiring for the second time. Yes.
Oh,
Third time.
I'm sorry.
Take that back.
Third time. I'm sorry to hear that. He was to work with. So how are you going to move forward with code enforcement? Is
Well,
another
we hope to
officer
hire
gonna
somebody,
fill in?
and then we hope to
Okay.
have that person with Mike at least for a month before he leaves.
Okay, and he's leaving when?
August 31, I think is his last day.
So though, as a new code enforcement officer,
Absolutely not. So if you have somebody that you think could do the job, we'd be interested in talking to him. We just talked about it for the first time really yesterday about what it's going to be. Right now
Do you have
we've had an officer splitting half their time to policing and half their time to code enforcement. I don't
Is there
envision
anybody
that occurring
qualified or
again.
interested from the existing force that would like to move into
Do
that?
you,
Absolutely.
John, do you have a job description? Is there a,
I will have one together probably by early next week, if not tomorrow.
Sounds good. Well, I appreciate your letting us know, and, to all of us, if we can know of somebody that might be appropriate, let's
Yeah,
share it.
we figured somebody who's been in the trades, building trades of some sort,
Mhm.
because that's the other half. It's not just code enforcement.
All
And
the
we've got all
permits
this new
and everything
construction
else.
that's,
Mhm.
about to take place. So
I've got
important
an
we have
idea for
somebody who
someone. I'll
understands.
let him know.
Oh, terrific. Okay, anything else? Like I said, it's the meeting, and usually we have a little more, but I think we covered a lot of good things today, and we all have some to-do things. So we'll plan on the 4th, and I'll send out a note on that, and we'll start thinking about code enforcement and go from there.
okay, well, thank you for what all you do, Linda. You've been pretty busy.
Very
Busy
much
as
so.
usual, but it's a
Thank
good
you.
cause. What can I say? And I'm, dealing with a lot of these volunteer situations is kind of like I've met all of you, and that's been a good thing, and I really enjoy it. So it is what it is.
Great. Thank
So,
you.
and I think we have, unless somebody else has another topic, I think we could entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
A
Second?
second.
All
Right.
right. All in favor? It is 2:29. We are now adjourned, and thank you all for everything you guys do.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right, you too. Thank you so much.
John,
Great, thank
before
you.
you go, oh, John's gone.
Yes.
Oh, no, you're still there.
I'm still
Do
here.
I turn this up on my iPad volume wise, or there's a little button with the smiley face? What is that? I'm trying to figure out how to turn the sound up.
I think Just your iPad in general should.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the little buttons on the side would probably do that. Is that, like I said, I
That's
usually
the